Everyone, CPO here, and I'm just finishing up editing the video you're about to watch, which is part 2 of the ORO SwayLOC installation. So the first part covered the mechanical components, right? So if you got a SwayLOC from ORO or one of their distributors, and you do not want to connect it to your air system, then part 1 covers all of that install. This video is going to cover integrating it with onboard air. Now, the ORO does come with, and I'll show you here in a second, the components you need to attach it to an onboard air system. It comes with a solenoid, it comes with air lines, it comes even with a switch if you just want to use a simple switch system. I'm not using any of that because I am integrating it into my existing switch environment, my S-Tech switch pod up above the rearview mirror in the Jeep. And I'm going to attach it to my ARB onboard air compressor. Now, there is one important thing to note, and that is the ORO SwayLOC comes with 1/4 inch air lines. These are air lines a little bit bigger in diameter, designed for air brakes and things like that, heavy duty applications. So ARB comes with a 5mm airline. So my lockers and all that stuff right now are currently piped with 5mm blue line, that blue line you see. So this is a bigger diameter hose, and I'm going to integrate that into ARB with a special fitting I got. Don't worry, I'll show you all of that. That was really the easiest way for me to do it. But anyway, let's get to it, because you don't want to see me talk, you want to see the install. All right, like I mentioned before, the ORO SwayLOC will come with what you need to integrate it into your onboard air, assuming that you got the air-activated version. So nice solenoid, nice switch harness, including this little simple switch, if maybe that's all you want to have to turn on your or activate your sway bar. It does come with 2 lines. One of them is an open line you're going to run for your air compressor. The other one is crimped on the end. It's sealed, and I'll explain a little bit more about that here in a second, but just know that one of these is sealed. You're going to need to use that, and we're going to, well, I'll explain it. All right, so this is the fitting I got. I got it from a company called Cauliflower. It's a local like air supply hydraulics company. Now this fitting is a 1/4 inch airline fitting with a 1/8 inch BSPP end, and that's what I need to fit onto my ARB air compressor. You can see I just removed my existing 1/8 inch fitting, and that was for the 5mm airline. So all I'm going to do is replace it with this one that allows me to directly plug in a 1/4 inch airline. So this is a pretty simple part of the install because I already have a solenoid and a switch dedicated for sway bar disconnect. So literally all I'm doing is replacing that fitting so that I can attach that 1/4 inch airline. Now you might have to, if you're doing this for the first time and you haven't had a sway bar disconnect via air yet, you might need to install perhaps that solenoid that came with the kit or a different solenoid. All right, so the airline we're going to run to the air compressor. You can see here I put a little bit of wire loom tape on there just for abrasion protection. I found a little hole, it's a through hole in the frame right above where I want to connect this. So that's where I'm going to run it. First thing I need to do is pull off the front of the grill. Hopefully you guys all know how to remove the grill by now. If not, sorry, this video is probably not helping you much in that regard. Anyway, so I'm running this airline through in front of the radiator, and then there's a little outlet, like I said, a hole that goes through the frame that I'm going to pop that out in. Turned out to be a perfect spot, but I did want to put some of that wire loom tape on there just to keep it from abrading against the frame itself. And you see it pops right out there, and then actually is right in line with where I'm plugging it into the air cylinder. And then I'm going to run the rest of it back along and plug it into the air compressor just like I would any other airline. Make sure you make your cuts nice and crisp so that they fit into the fitting properly and don't leak. All right, so you can see how that comes out nice and clean, I think. So, you know, your decision may be to wire it someplace differently. So now we have the crimped airline to add into it. Basically, the reason for this is there's going to be airflow as we activate and deactivate this air chamber. And so what ORO decided to do is keep the air system clean completely. So when it exhausts air and then resucks in air, as it moves that cylinder back and forth, you're basically pulling air out of this crimped line. It's basically a clean exhaust and you know, recycling airline. So their recommendation is to leave that as long as possible and basically just run it along with your existing airline. So that's what I did. I cut it to fit basically the same path as the airline that I ran that's actually controlling the air from the air compressor. And yeah, and then I'm just going to zip tie it all around and fit in there. It is really sort of interesting that they've even thought about, you know, that, you know, movement of air and wanting to keep the entire system contaminant free and clean. So I just, you know, I never really would have thought about that. And when I first saw this system with the dual lines and the one of them being crimped, I was like, what the heck is going on here? But that's it. It's basically an air chamber in that crimped line that is designed to allow air to flow in and out of, but it's all sealed and keeps contaminants out. Anyway, don't forget your SwayLOC sticker, but that's it. We're done with the install. It's pretty simple if you're integrating it into an existing air system. And you can see here, I jump into the Jeep, and then I'm gonna flip the switch, of course, to test this and make sure that it actually, you know, disconnects the system, which it does. And then another important function, after I verify that, is verifying that when I close the switch, that it goes back into place. In the first video, I spent some time making sure that that opened and closed freely. Now, I don't have anything really huge to ramp up on at the house, so I just pulled out one of these vehicle ramps. My point here is to see, if you look at the top, at the SwayLOC, I'm gonna disconnect the system and then drive up on the ramp. And what I want to see out of this test is an independent motion where the outer arm moves independently of the inner arm at the different rate. So you can see that it's misaligned. And here's, you know, just a look at sort of the completely installed setup. I think it looks beautiful. I really like it. I love the aluminum. Of course, it matches the rest of my aluminum components here. All right, and then so for this test, I'm going to close the switch with it misaligned, and then when I back down off the ramp, what I'm looking for is that it re-engages and relocks the sway bar for on-road use, and you see right there, it just locked it into place as soon as it found an opportunity to do so. So yeah, that's successful test. Anyway, guys, this is the air-activated SwayLOC dual-rate sway bar system for the Jeep Wrangler. Really like this thing, and I have not taken it off-road yet. My on-road experience has been very nice. I feel like it's a little tighter. It's a little tighter in the turns and hard cornering on the road. And I did promise you I will have a video coming up in the near future that will have some testing results both on and off-road. Anyway, guys, that's it for this video. There will be another one. Thanks for watching.